And that's the problem. The Democrats' entire campaign was all misinformation and misguiding people across the board. They literally just had everyone in their feelings. That's it. Nobody actually went to do any research, any critical thinking, no type of processing of nothing. It was just Trump is bad. He's a racist. He's Hitler. He's fascist. He's all of these things. But nobody actually looked up the facts and said, you know what? These people are making flat out lies.
Brown sugar.
Mhm.
Like I know that Viz brought that up, and you said you wasn't aware, but how do you feel about men identifying as women and going into women's
Oh,
bath?
I just commented on that. I agree with what Trump said about that. Let's just stick to two genders. I'm I'm for that.
Okay.
I just want to interject one thing, and I put it in the back chat. This is what's been going on this entire election cycle on both sides, but specifically speaking to this issue that Viz was pointing about and talking about. That's been the talking point where you have a loud minority that's speaking for the majority. And the majority of, I'm going to stick to Black people in general, do not agree with it. We're in alignment with exactly what Trump said. The majority, if you look it up, the majority of Black people typically lean more conservative with certain topics. The issue is that we're not a one topic type, you know what I'm saying? So while we don't agree, while we're in alignment with Trump about maybe this thing, we're not in alignment about other things, right? That we feel that may directly impact us on a day-to-day basis. So when you're looking at one thing, there's a tendency to separate certain things. But what I'm not liking, and like I said, on both sides, because I've seen it where I'm like, nope, that's not true. When somebody's saying something about trying to bash on the Republican side about certain things, and vice versa. The thing is that the vast majority of people, and you can look up the stats, the vast majority do not agree with it either. But it's just that this talking point of pushing it in front of the media, they have a loud voice. And because that loud voice is not in alignment with what most people think, it appears that like what begins to happen is that the Republican Party has a good talking point when it comes to that. I don't knock them for using that to help strengthen their side, because it's absolutely true. The vast majority of people do not agree with the policy and the pushing of allowing children to make decisions that are going to impact them. They don't, and the stats show that. So
92%
I
of
agree, but continue to
92.
push that it is not cool, because people are like you said, if you look up the policy, if you look up these things, you'll see that's what's being said is not necessarily in alignment with what the truth is. You take bits and pieces of the truth, blow it up to make it look like it's the total truth when it's not. And you know,
92.
as well as I know, most people are not going to go back and look up this stuff. They're not. They're going to hear the talking points of everybody else, use those same talking points, repeat, repeat, repeat.
And
And
90,
that's not the
92,
case.
92% of Black women voted for that. I, I, I'm not sure how much that is true. We saw the polls, just like you just said. Brown
They
Sugar said
voted
that
for
she
her.
did.
Doesn't mean that they voted for that. But that's what I'm trying to
If you
say.
vote
That's
for
what she
her,
They
just
you're
voted for
voting
said.
it.
for the
Well,
policy,
then in
though.
that case,
That's the
everything else that Trump was doing, y'all voted for that, and that's why women probably have an issue as well.
That's
It
it.
literally
goes
what she
both
just
ways, is
said.
what I'm trying to
Right.
say.
Yeah,
That's
in
fair,
This is
but
reality,
not a one specific
Right.
issue voters. So it's like, well, I know I have to accept the bad with the good, but this aligns with more of what I agree with. So I'm gonna vote for this particular candidate based on all of the other things that I agree with.
okay.
And
So
yeah, I'm gonna have to accept the good with the bad, and that's for both sides.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let somebody else chime in. So what we do know, the three primary focuses of most Americans and I'm sure Black America is involved in this as well, was the economy, was immigration, and Luis, what was the third one?
The war. So economy, immigration,
Aid,
war.
yeah, aid to Israel
Right.
and Ukraine.
So these are all three factors, and where the Democrats, where the Biden-Harris administration has failed terribly. They have sent over $62 billion to the Ukraine alone. Chicago is overran. New York is overran with illegals.
Colorado.
Chicago is not, all across the country. All of these blue states are all overran with illegals. Chicago is in a $1 billion deficit, to where the mayor, a Black man, let all these illegals in and now is raising the property tax up almost 300%. So I don't know how that doesn't affect Black people. So we have that. We now have an issue where there's no longer money being available to Black people that actually need it. So it is across the board. The very things that Biden-Harris administration ran off of is the complete failure. So if you vote for that, you continue to vote for those same exact things that we've been experiencing. So to say that it's just a, to say that it's just a one, to say that it's just a one,
did not vote
let me
for
just finish,
specifically
mistaken. Let me finish, and I'm gonna be quiet.
No,
To
because
say
if you're
that
going to
it's
speak,
just a
it's
one,
speak the entire truth is what I'm saying,
I
Vince.
am
And this
speaking
is
the
why
entire
the
truth.
issue, this
Okay,
issue,
so what
you're
was,
not.
what
There
is
was
it
a
that I just
policy
said
that
that's
was
not
on the
true?
table to be put in place that Trump specifically said, do not vote on it because I don't want the Democrats to get the win for this policy,
The border
even though it was
bill,
a bipartisan,
the border bill,
agreement, and they didn't for
the
that.
border
So
bill.
that's what I'm
So the
saying.
border bill.
What I'm
So
saying is just speak the truth in its totality. That's
I'm
all.
speaking
And
the
that was
truth.
the
So the
problem
border,
that did not occur this
so the border,
election cycle. Nobody was speaking the full truth.
so the border bill, what we do know of the border bill is that it was going to allow almost 2 million people, more illegals, to enter the country. It was also going to give amnesty to the illegals that's already here. It was also going to give more money, billions, to the Ukraine. So why would we do that? That makes no sense. That's not a good bill. The same way that Kamala was not a good candidate, that bill was not good. So I don't understand how it's you're literally doing the very thing that you're accusing me of. You're picking and choosing bits and pieces that sound good, but it's not the facts.